All right, Pete, we're all set, so just go ahead, take it away, sir.
Take it away, sir.
I hear an echo.
Yeah, hi everybody. If you're attending this call and not speaking, if you could please mute your line, that'd be great. And Pete, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Peter McCullough. I am the product owner for CA Endevor Software Change Manager, and I am representing the Endevor V17 release overview presentation that was originally given in January. Unfortunately, at that time, we had some technical difficulties with, and were unable to record it. So due to popular demand, according to our user community voting, I am representing this V17 overview. So if you have attended the January, this will be old news, but it is a few minutes different, so there may be a little bit different spin on the presentation. I'd like to say that we do have a hard stop in 60 minutes. That would be 12 o'clock noon my time on the East Coast in the U.S. And there will be another call that's going to begin at that time, so we need to be complete with this presentation. Other than that, I would encourage people to ask questions or clarifications or make comments as we go through, but we may have to keep them short to get through the presentation. Before we get started, does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, I'm going to start with the review of the agenda. I'm going to talk about something that we've done for the first time, a What's New video. Then get into each of the major enhancements that were introduced with version 17, the batch admin utility build enhancement, package list, execute failed, a new filter option, a brand new action called the alter element action, and those of you who have been with Endevor for some time will may have heard about this years ago. We finally gotten to the point where we've begun delivery of the functionality with the alter action. I'm going to talk a little bit about the documentation roadmap. When we gave this presentation in January, we had somebody from that team present these slides, but I'm going to try to do that today. And then just a few notes about the Endevor report and ISPF panel enhancements, changes, and then some final notes about the API and CSV utility changes. There are some minor changes there that we'd like to make you aware of. So I'll get started with the What's New video. Our education department was able to put together a very professional video that is fairly short. I think it's probably about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, that describes the two things. It describes the Endevor features that are provided, the ones I just reviewed in the agenda, as well as the provides an overview of what we're calling a incremental delivery process that CA is beginning to use with some of our products, including Endevor. Incremental delivery is a change in what we've done in the past, where in the past we've waited until all the features were done. We would go to a beta process where people would have a ability to test it and view the changes, but it would be too late to make any request to make changes to what were being delivered in the new release. With incremental deliveries, we will be delivering features as they are done by the or completed by the development team and deemed by our development partners to provide enough value that will be useful. We will go ahead and publish those for production. So anyone on a incremental delivery release, which would be, if we get started with the same process, would be V18, you could get an early view of the new features as they are coming off. So the YouTube video will provide an overview of what that's all about. And there's also a mention of it's included in the Endevor documentation bookshelf as well as posted on YouTube. And thanks to Len, he's also put it on a link to the YouTube video right there in the Endevor community page. So I see that there was about 126 views, and no one's yet commented on the quality of that. It'd be good to see what other people thought. I thought it was excellent myself, but if you get a chance, take a look and give it your rating. So getting into the features with V17, the number one DAR for quite some time had to do with the batch admin utility BuildSEL function. And what the request was to allow the masking of the environment name specification so that the build action could be used to, at one action request, to write out all of the SEL for the objects mentioned on the slide: the approver group, the group relation, the environment, processor group symbols, et cetera, et cetera. And it will do this now for all environments that match your wildcard specification. Before this enhancement, each build request had to be explicitly done for by environment. So at the bottom of the slide, you'll see that there's a comment that the release notes, the admin, and SEL guides provide more detailed information about this feature. The number 4 DAR that was addressed with V17 was the inclusion of a new filter on the package selection list. This is the ISPF foreground package selection list, where people would like to limit the list to exec failed. So that option is now available on that panel, and it is documented as part of the ISPF tutorial for this one. The alter action, which is probably took up the bulk of the development time for version 17, covers the number 2 and number 5 DARs, and this is the capability to modify certain element MCF metadata information. It provides the capability if somebody mistyped the CCID or wanted to change the description or wanted to change the sign-out ID or processor group or user data, they could use the alter action to make those changes to the MCF element record, but not have to regenerate the element to do so, which has been in the past. And this has been addresses a day one need, I think, because a lot of people, when they first implemented Endevor, would use a comment something like loading Endevor when they load the entire application into Endevor, and the base comment for all of those elements are loading Endevor, which is not very useful. And with the alter action, if you still have that situation and you want to go back and make changes to provide a more meaningful description of an element, you could use the alter action to go back and do that. Now, this alter is available only as a batch action. It is quite a powerful utility, and it provides a lot of safeguards, such as a capability to specify update mode or not, so that you could actually run the alter action what will happen if I actually ran this SEL for real. And it also provides the capability of matching. As you'll see on the screen, there is a replace clause, and in this example has got all of the fields that are currently supported by the alter action, and you can see that you can specify a matching value for the generate CCID old val with new val. That's an example of it will look to match any CCID that generates CCID that matches, and it will replace it. But notice that also in this action that you can specify the standard inventory specification. You can wildcard everything if you like, or you can be explicit to the specific element that you want to change. So between the alter action from information as well as the from or current value matching on the replace statement, that you can get very specific on values that you change within the Endevor MCF. Now this is, as I said, there's a lot to this action. It is well documented in the release notes, the admin guide, the SEL guide, and the exits guide, because all of those were impacted by this action. Are there any questions about this action before we move forward?
If anybody has any questions, feel free to just ask them in either the chat box or the Q&A box within the WebEx, please. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you, Len. So as I mentioned earlier, that the alter action does not execute a processor. It's strictly used to change the element MCF metadata. And that's sort of a warning that if you change the processor group associated with an element, that won't take effect until the next time that element is generated. Also, it's a warning that normally when you change processor groups, as with a generate or add or update action, when a processor group change occurs, the delete processor of the old process group is executed to clean up old processor output members before the generate processor of the new processor group is executed. So in this case, because the alter action does not execute the processor function of Endevor, that you'll have to be careful to clean up any outputs that may have been left behind by that old processor group. The thinking and what I heard from the customers that partnered with us was that this was not really an issue for them. It was more of a situation where they had a bad processor group name to begin with and they just wanted to fix it. It wasn't a matter of a cleanup issue, but they were aware of that situation if it did occur. Now, another item of the alter action that was very significant was how to handle the messages. As you can expect, the amount of messages that could be a result of the alter action processing could be voluminous, and all of the information could be lost by too many messages. So we tried to be very concise with the messages to indicate what was asked for and what actually occurred. As you'll see on the screen, that you'll see the original values and the replacement values and that kind of thing in the execution report. It's a lot of messages, but we all thought it was, including our validation partners, necessary to ensure that everyone understood exactly what happened during the alter action processing. There was discussion also about return code setting, which is always subject for discussion. In this case, the return code of 0 is set when 100% of matching occurred on the criteria, where you used wildcarding on an element name or somewhere in the element name masking or some masking, and everything did match, you'll get a return code 0. If there were any things that did not match the selection criteria, and this also applies to the criteria in the replace statement, that you'll get a return code 4, and you'll get a return code 8 if there was nothing that matched. So just be aware of that, and we'll move forward. The documentation bookshelf contains the V17 release notes, which is a summary of all of the enhancements and new features that were provided with 17. I encourage you to check that out for a more detailed description of what was delivered. The documentation changes README lists all significant changes to each guide within each of those. There is an alter action article which describes from A to Z all of the processing and considerations that occur with the alter action. And then there's online access to the bookshelf available through Google. And that's something that I discovered at CA World last year, that it wasn't widely known that, and this isn't V17 specific, that you could actually go to Google or any search engine and look for like Endevor message ID, and you'll get the PDF back, and you can open it up and view it right there without going through the usual support site to get to the bookshelf, etc., to look up the documentation. It's very, very handy, and that's available for all of the unrestricted manuals. There have been some manuals we did restrict to people that are licensed for the product, such as the API guide, the access guide, and things like that. So I believe a question came in, and I was not in a mode to see the questions. The first question was, will actions be tracked in the SMF log? And absolutely. That's a very good question about SMF and the alter action. In fact, it is a requirement that you have SMF enabled before you can run the alter action. Without SMF, I think it will just run in read-only mode. So that from an auditing perspective, it was deemed a requirement for SMF. When changing a processor group, will this impact cast where it finds the processor group was changed? That's a good question. I wish somebody on the team was available to answer that one. Now we're going to have to research that one. I would expect that if the processor group was changed after the cast occurred, that the cast would have to be reperformed. It would fail and it would have to be reperformed, but we'll verify that. Len, I'm seeing comments like this question has been answered verbally. Is that applying to these questions, or?
Yeah, Pete. That's me going through the questions that you're answering and marking them as answers.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I understand now. Going through here. Can the alter action be limited to just the Endevor admins? The alter action can be is supported by ESI, and you can use it to enable or disable the action, or permit or not permit the action for any group of people that you have identified. So you could certainly limit it to admins or to team leads or to whatever groups that you've set up. Very flexible in that respect. Do component listings get updated on an alter? The answer to that question is no. Component listings do not get updated by alter. Alter is strictly the Endevor MCF metadata. Quite recently, though, along those lines, I was reminded that we did provide an enhancement back, I think, around the V14, V15 time frame, where you could use the search and replace utility to change listing dataset names. So in a case where component data did not reflect the current listing library where a listing was, you could use the search and replace to make that correction. But that's already available in the product. Will exit 3 be invoked by alter action? Yes, all Endevor exits that are connected to Endevor action processing will be invoked. That would be exit 1, the security exit, exit 2, the pre-action exit, exit 3, the post-action exit will be invoked. Can we limit the alter so that processor group can't be changed, but the others can? That is a feature that has been asked for. It is in the product backlog in terms of things that will provide, or more work that we can do with the alter action, and that was to provide the capability to enable ESI, or the security interface rules, to be set up to prevent specific people from changing certain fields within the MCF. So that at this point you could only limit it so that people can use the alter action or cannot use the alter action. If you wanted to limit it to specific people at this point, you could write your own or implement your own user exit to implement that restriction. But that is in the backlog for the future to be prioritized and delivered. And then the last question that I see is, at this point, is there an upgrade path from V15 directly to R17? The good news about Endevor, largely there is never an issue with going from one release to the current GA release. There is no conversion Usually there was one with when we were at release 4 of Endevor, but currently there was no restriction for going to V17 from any currently supported or recently supported releases. Just keep in mind though, if you start using new release features as always and you go backwards, if you fall back to an older release, you may have some issues accessing the data or things that were changed by that new release. So upward compatibility is not a problem. Then is this presentation available in soft copy form? I believe that it already has been posted in the community, user community, and if not, we will post it again, I'm sure. Len will take care of that. I'm going to have to stop, so there's a lot of good questions, so I'm going to have to stop and move on with the presentation. The last one that I see is, do I have an idea of how many people have installed V17? I do not have that information. We have information from the tech support of knowing who downloaded the release, but we don't know actually who installed the release. We don't have that tracking. Okay then, I'm going to move on. That was a lot of good questions. Documentation wiki. This is something that is not available today, but it is being delivered for CA products, and Endevor is on the list, and Endevor V17 is on the list for the CA documentation wiki. And I unfortunately don't have a newer date. I didn't get a chance to double check the May 15, 2015 delivery, but as far as I know, that may still be accurate. What the documentation wiki is all of the documentation information is going to be made available through a wiki, which is online, which is also known as the Backouts website. And as you can see under the user advantages bullets, it's just a lot more flexible in terms of finding information and being able to provide feedback to our documentation team in terms of quality and or missing or coverage or that kind of thing regarding the documentation. You can set watches in terms of keeping track of certain information in documents to get more information as it's posted. And there's the videos that will be available, and the amazing thing to me is localization, that with the wiki, that our product documentation, which by the way, you may not realize it, but we also provide a subset of the Endevor documentation in Japanese. But in general, with the wiki, it provides the capability to pretty much instantly translate to other languages. I don't know what those languages are, but in how that applies, it doesn't really apply to Endevor other than Japanese at this point, but that in general, if you use other CA products and that will go into the documentation, the wiki, that will be certainly a big advantage. And this is kind of just a preview of what the page would look like. It's really not organized so much by PDFs anymore. It is more organized by topic. So, and this has been worked with the Scrum team, the development team, and I'm sure will be validated with our customers. Anyone of you who would like to join us as a validation customer, you are very much encouraged to do so. But these are the things that we validate with customers to say, is this the right way to organize this information so that people can find it quickly? Moving on to some of the more minor changes that were introduced, but just wanted to make you aware that there were changes, because some people have implemented some what we call report scraping processes, where they'll run an Endevor report and then read that report into a Rex or something and parse it and to provide a separate report or something else. In that case, you may be impacted by some changes that we've made to the report itself, that in this case with the C1 Messages 2, which is the action summary report, we changed the heading from information to inventory information. And that was done as a result of the alter action because the alter action is not necessarily a from. The alter action, when it is executed, it actually executes against that occurrence or each instance of that element that's found. It doesn't do a generate copy back like other actions do, but alter does it in place. To be clear, if you have an element that's in development and another element that's in QA and the element in production, those are three different elements, and each of those three can be altered independently. So that is why the heading changed in that report. Oops, I'm sorry. The element activity profile report was just reorganized a little bit in the sense of the sequence where the most important information, such as the action in the element, was moved over to the left and the user CCI to the right, the date and time. So the information is still there. It's just been reorganized to provide a little bit more meaningful way to get that information across. In the element activity report, for the alter action, this is brand new. It will show the before and the after in the masking that was specified in the replace clause of the alter action. So this is all historical. For those of you who are not familiar with SMF, this is a ZOS journaling facility. It's been in the operating system since the beginning of mainframes, I believe, at least my beginning with mainframes, which goes back quite a while. And generally, it is used to provide historical information, things that you can't get out of just running out of Endevor MCF reports, because MCF reports are only the information as they were at the time the report was run. But with SMF, it's historical. It typically customers like yourselves will, or system programmers will collect this information and archive it and make it available to you for reporting at a later time. The downside of SMF reports is that information is usually archived and put somewhere, and it's not easily accessible, and you'll have to reach out to whoever maintains SMF to find out where that information is. But it is truly the right way to report on historical information. And also in the SMF reports, we've actually, I think this might have been a defect in when element long names were introduced with release 4 of Endevor, that we now will extend the element name to a separate line in case it gets longer, as you'll see in this example. The element master display was enhanced to, as also as a result of the alter action. And there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about on this panel. One is the user data. I didn't mention that earlier on the alter action, and I should have. The user data is supported by alter action, and user data was actually introduced several releases ago, many years ago, as a way for people to associate information that you have that Endevor doesn't collect, but you'd like to store with the element and report on. Prior to the alter action, the only way to provide this user exit or the user data information was from exit 2, and it is available through exit 3. It's available through the Eclipse UI to see it on element list there. It's available on reports, and it is available now through the MCF master display. And the alter action can now be used to modify the user data. There is no restriction in terms of the syntax of the data that's in the field. It's completely up to you on how you want to use it. Thinking is that there's 80 characters worth of information. You might want to segment it to have information stored in different positions in the user data in case you have multiple needs. But the formatting is, as you see here, is just 80 characters. We display it both in Nepsidic, and so that you can see exactly what's in there. Also on this panel is the alter action information, and there's a little bit background of the alter action in the sense that when we implemented it, it was pointed out to us by our validation partners that the alter action should not modify the last action information field information in the MCF. Instead, it needed to be somewhere else, and so we included it. We created some new MCF fields to create and record the alter action usage, so that in case something changed and maybe your end user was confused why the processor group changed or something like that, you can go, or they can go to the MCF display to see if the alter action had been executed. But you'll notice here in this display that the fields are a little bit limited. It shows the first time, that date and time that the alter action was executed for that element, the last time it was executed, and the cumulative number of fields that were altered. Keep in mind that the alter action can be used to change 8 fields with 1 action execution, or it could be used to change 1 field at a time. So the number of times an alter action was executed does not necessarily reflect the number of fields that were altered. So we actually kept track of the number of fields that were altered, and for the duration from between the first and the last time the alter action was executed. And then there was the last person that executed the alter action, so that if there was a question about what happened, and it was that processor group change, you could look here and see who did it, when they did it, the last action, last user ID, and then the fields below are the fields that were actually changed by the last execution of the alter action. So you could quickly rule in or rule out whether, I should say, you could quickly rule out whether that person that performed the alter action was the person that changed that processor group value. So this would all be blank if the alter action had never been executed. We expect that the alter action is not one of those kinds of actions that will be used on a regular basis, but it may be used on initially to clean up a lot of things that have been accumulating, needing changes, like the descriptions that I had mentioned earlier in the presentation. But theoretically, that the usage should just wane off and just be used on an ad hoc basis. The API and CSV utility were changed as a result of the implementation of the alter action as well, because of the new Endevor MCF fields that were introduced with the alter action. The API list element and the CSV list element fields changed. The record layout changed and increased to accommodate the new data fields. So I think that was it for the presentation, and I'll check into the questions now. And I think, Len, if you're available to open up the lines for questions, I'd be glad to handle any Q&A.
Yeah, actually, the way the WebEx is set up, any questions should be sent via the Q&A in the WebEx.
Okay. But I mean, if somebody wants, nobody could just talk to me now? Open up the lines?
No, this particular event is set up to have the questions done online. Okay.
All right. I'm going to miss my being able to have that conversation, but I always enjoy. So the last question that I do see in the Q&A is more of a comment. Someone is testing V17, very clean upgrade so far from V15. So thank you very much for that, sharing that information. And I would like to say also that I didn't get a chance to, that we are looking to further improve the quality, continually improve the quality of the releases. We have a zero defect policy in place now with new releases, and that doesn't say that all of the defects in the product are going to be eliminated, but it is saying that we are working 150% to ensure that no defects are introduced with new features that are developed and distributed, so that over time that the number of product issues that are discovered should disappear. But no new features. No new features will be delivering any new defects. That was very difficult to say, but as for those of you who've been with the product for quite some time, you'll notice that the Endevor quality has been very, very high for the last several releases, and it's just going to get nothing but better. I have full confidence in it, and I strongly urge that anybody that can is considering doing an upgrade to go ahead and upgrade as quickly as you possibly can, so that you can take advantage of the new features. That said, that the end of support for version 16 has been announced, and for June 30, 2016, and that provides an 18-month window to get up to V17. As I said, there's really no risk, and the recommendation is that the sooner off you do that, the better off you'll be. So I think we've reached the conclusion here. Does anyone have any other questions that they would like to enter into the Q&A?
Pete, it actually looks like there are a few more questions in the Q&A box.
I see. Okay. Just another comment that another customer is planning to go, has been testing V17, planning to go live in April. In batch, not ISBF, how can get a list of non-global symbols by processor group? I believe that can be done about using the CSV utility, where you can extract the symbols by processor group, the symbol overrides that are specified, and then report on those. If you're not familiar with the CSV utility, highly recommend it for a way of getting the data out of your MCFs or package file and into a format that you could use, typically Excel, to import it and generate your own reports and pie charts and that kind of thing. It's a very, very powerful way to generate your own ad hoc reports. So I had mentioned about validation partner program. We are in the process of implementing a new tool, software tool called, I believe it's called CenterCode or Centerline, something like that, to help manage the certification process. Prior to that, we've been using email, our private community pages and things like that. We're looking to revamp that with this new tool, and also provide the capability for people to sign up if they're interested in becoming a certification partner. The goal is that once someone is signed up to become a certification partner, they don't have to do that for every release. They will stay a certification partner and participate or not participate based on their interest in availability and the release that's coming up. In the meantime, before we have this tool set up, if you're interested in becoming a certification partner, you can send me an email, peter.mccullough@ca.com, MCCULLOUGH, or Rose Sakach@ca.com. Rose is the product manager for Endevor as well as other products, and she is rose.sakach@ca.com. And otherwise, we'll be sending out to the community information about how to register as well for the upcoming release. We are in an interim, just so that you know, we're in an interim period here between 17 and the next release, where we are going through some agile processes to improve our our QA automation so that we're more efficient and find issues quicker so that we can deliver features and functions faster. So we're currently focusing on some internal processes now and have not yet begun work on the next release. Just checking to see if we have to upgrade from V14, which is not supported. Any issues with that? As I said, there's no issues, no known issues with any upgrades to V17. I would say anything V14 above with certainly no issues with that. Can the alter action run against lock stages? There is an existing optional PTF that covers allow non-package actions. And how does this cover the new alter action? I'm going to have to follow up on that. It's been a while since I've gotten to that level of detail. The question is, can alter be used to modify an element in a locked package or an element that's been locked in a CAS package? And I'll have to follow up, and we'll post the response in the community bulletin board. I apologize for not having that at the tip of my brain. But I wish we could be talking verbally rather than writing and reading. Are the slides available to be emailed? The webcast will be posted in the community board by Len. Thank you. I think we covered that earlier. Are there any plans to record package actions through SMF? Actually, the enhancement to include package actions in SMF was high on the backlog, and it is still in the backlog. It is still high in the backlog to do that. It was almost going to be included with V17, but time did not allow us to be able to provide that capability with V17. So it is there, ready to be included. Will the Endevor admin functions be available in Quick Edit? Not one to say never, but I would be very surprised. The Quick Edit interface is really intended to be a developer UI as opposed to an admin UI, so I would be surprised at that. Isn't it possible to alter the last action comment or other comments? At this point, the alter action is only available for the description. I believe the last action comment is actually I'm going to have to check on that one. Actually, I'm going to go back to the top. I believe it is just the description at this point, and but I will verify that because we have all of the fields identified at the beginning of the presentation. And oh my goodness, the description's not even in this list. I believe it is just the element description that is included, but the release notes and the rest of the documentation will cover that detail to confirm it. But I believe that is the answer to that question. For element backouts, will there be a notification message displayed as part of the quick edit screen next to the element and not reply on performing a master display or enter edit mode? For element backouts, will there be a notification message displayed as part of the quick edit screen next to the element and not replying on performing. I'm not sure the second half of that question, but I believe that there is a warning message, a caution message that comes up in ISPF that says that the element has been backed out when someone goes in to edit. That had been introduced quite a few releases back into the product. Another way to extract processor group symbol information is through the BuildSEL, which can now wildcard at the environment level. Thank you very much. The advantage of that is that you can edit, change the definition, and rerun them. Very, very good point. With the BuildSEL, which is basically the capability to punch out all of the inventory definition information in SEL format, that is a good way to get the processor group symbol information out. It's not as reportable as with the CSV utility, but it certainly is effective if you want to make global changes. That's a very, very good point that was made. Thank you much for providing that comment. And someone agreed that it's that they missed talking to, so maybe we can get that addressed the next time we have one of these presentations. At least we can talk through words, reading and writing through the text. And comment was made: if an element is locked, it was cast. Wouldn't that negate the previous question on recasting? I think the question was, can a alter action be used against a locked element? If I've got that incorrect, please enter that. But there is an override in the optional feature table to allow certain actions to be able to be performed against a locked element. So if by default, I think if it is cast, alter would not be able to change it. Will an alter package action be available in the future? Well, that's a good question. I think that if we saw that in ideation and it got the community showed interest in that, we would certainly provide that, look to provide that capability. I don't think I've actually heard that request before. Not that people haven't been thinking about it, but I haven't heard that request. BuildSEL does not support local symbols, only global symbols. This is a question. We're getting a lot of detail about these symbols. The actual information that's stored in the MCF are symbol overrides to the processors. I think what local symbols are defined as is the symbols that are defined in the processors themselves on the proc statement. Those would be the defaults, and the overrides can be provided through the processor group definition. And so those are the things that you could punch out through the BuildSEL or using the CSV utility. The element backout information is available through the API, but it is not shown in the element selection list. Good idea for ideation. There was a comment. Okay, I think we've reached the end. I don't hear anybody typing, but I can't hear anybody at all. So I don't know if anybody's entering any more questions. We can give it another. We're at 10 minutes to the hour now, and as I said, we needed to be off by at the top of the hour. So we'll just say I'll give it to one or two more minutes, and then we'll conclude.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. And if anybody has any questions that we missed or that come to mind later, please feel free to go out to the community and ask them there as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Len, for your help with this. And one more. Question about would an alter action cause an incremental backup to trigger for that element? Ooh. I believe the answer to that question is yes. The alter action would cause a change to the MCF update date for that element, which would trigger a change for the incremental backup to occur. Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thanks very much, Pete.
And thank you. And this concludes the presentation.